£30,000. That is how much your local council will hand you in a single payment to put a stairlift in your home, rip out your old bath and replace it with a walk-in shower, widen your doorways, build a ramp to your front door, or fit grab rails through every room. £30,000. And you do not pay a penny of it back. It is called the Disabled Facilities Grant, and I have never met a single pensioner who knew about it before I told them. They all assumed that when they needed a stairlift, they would have to spend £3,000 or £4,000 of their own savings. When they needed a wet room, they thought that was £5,000 gone. Nobody told them the council would cover it. If you are on pension credit, housing benefit, income support or council tax support, there is no means test at all. You get the full amount based on what an occupational therapist says you need. If you are not on those benefits, there is a financial assessment, but most pensioners on a modest income still qualify for all or most of it. You start the process by calling your local council and asking for adult social services. They send someone to your home, they assess what you need, and the council pays the contractor directly. You do not handle the money. You do not chase invoices. You just get the work done. That one alone would be enough for a video. But the Disabled Facilities Grant is actually the third biggest thing I'm going to tell you about today. There are two more that pay out every single week. The biggest weekly payment most pensioners are missing is attendance allowance. It pays up to £114.60 per week. That is £5,959 a year, tax-free, straight into your bank account. Over 1 million pensioners are eligible right now and are not claiming it. And here is why. The name is wrong. Attendance allowance sounds like it is for people who need someone in attendance, a full-time carer, a nurse, someone sitting with you all day. It is not. It is for anyone over state pension age who has any difficulty with everyday life. Difficulty getting dressed, difficulty getting in or out of the bath, difficulty cooking a meal, pain when you walk, trouble hearing, trouble managing your medication, arthritis, a heart condition, breathing problems, diabetes, poor eyesight, even depression or anxiety that makes daily tasks harder than they should be. If that sounds like you or someone you know, you probably qualify. There are two rates. The lower rate is £76.70 per week, which is just under £4,000 a year. That is for difficulty during the day or during the night. The higher rate is £114.60 per week, just under £6,000 a year, for difficulty during both. Now here is the part that matters. Attendance allowance is not means-tested. Your savings do not matter. Owning your home does not matter. Having a private pension does not matter. They do not look at any of that. If you have difficulty with daily living, you can claim it regardless of what you have in the bank. But there is something even more important. Getting attendance allowance can unlock pension credit for people who thought they earned too much to qualify. Attendance allowance triggers what is called a severe disability premium inside the pension credit calculation. That premium raises the income threshold, which means your income that was previously too high might now fall below the line. And once you are on pension credit, everything opens up. Free dental, free prescriptions, the warm home discount, broadband social tariffs, cold weather payments. The whole chain of benefits that I covered in my earlier videos all starts with this one claim. You apply by calling 0800 7310 122. The form takes about 20 minutes. Now, if you have just claimed attendance allowance for your spouse or partner, there is a second payment that most couples never think to claim for themselves. If you look after someone for at least 35 hours a week and that person receives attendance allowance, you may be entitled to carer's allowance. That is £86.45 per week. £4,495 a year. You do not need qualifications. You do not need training. If you help them get dressed, cook for them, take them to appointments, manage their pills, or just make sure they are safe throughout the day, that counts. 35 hours a week of that, and you qualify. Here is where most people stop. They find out that carer's allowance overlaps with the state pension, meaning if you already get a full state pension, you cannot be paid both at the same time. So they assume there is no point in claiming. That is one of the most expensive mistakes a pensioner can make. Even though you do not get paid carer's allowance directly, the act of claiming it gives you what is called underlying entitlement. That entitlement adds a carer premium of up to £45.60 per week into your pension credit calculation. That is £2,371 a year in extra pension credit that you simply do not get unless you have claimed carer's allowance first. So the order matters. Attendance allowance, for the person who needs care. Then carer's allowance, for the person providing it. Then pension credit for the household with both of those in place. Each one triggers the next. Miss one, and the whole chain breaks. You apply for carer's allowance at gov.uk. It is an online form. Right. 2 more things, and these are quicker but just as valuable. Your state pension might be lower than it should be, and you can fix it for £824. Here is what I mean. The full new state pension is £230.25 per week. To get that full amount, you need 35 qualifying years of national insurance contributions. If you have gaps, years where you did not pay enough NI, your pension is reduced. But you can buy those years back. Each year costs £824.20, and each year you buy adds roughly £6.58 per week to your pension. That is £342 a year permanently for the rest of your life. Pay $824 once. Get $342 back every year. The maths breaks even in about 2.5 years. After that, it is money you would never have had. Go to gov.uk and check your national insurance record. It is free, it takes 5 minutes. It shows you exactly which years have gaps and how much each gap is costing you. Then, before you pay anything, call the Future Pension Centre on 0800 7310 175 and ask them whether buying those years will actually increase your pension, because in some cases it will not, and they will tell you before you spend a penny. The deadline for filling gaps from the last 6 tax years is always rolling, so as of now you can go back to 2020/2021. The special extension for years going back to 2006 closed in April 2025. Last one. If you earn just above the threshold for pension credit and you have been paying for your own prescriptions, dental treatment, eye tests, or travel to hospital, there is a scheme that most pensioners in your position have never heard of. It is called the NHS Low Income Scheme. You fill in a form called HC1. It asks about your income, your savings, and your housing costs. If your savings are under £16,000 and your income is modest, you will almost certainly qualify. They send you one of 2 certificates. An HC2 means everything is free: prescriptions, dental, eye tests, glasses, and travel to hospital. An HC3 means you pay a reduced amount based on what they calculate you can afford. The certificate lasts between 6 months and 5 years. When it expires, you reapply. The HC1 form is available at any hospital, any GP surgery, any job centre, or you can download it from the NHS Business Services Authority website. This one matters because it catches the people who fall through the gap. Too much income for pension credit, but not enough to comfortably pay £60, £70, £80 for dental work every time something goes wrong. That gap is exactly what the NHS Low Income Scheme is designed to fill. Everything I have covered today, the links, the phone numbers, the forms, is in the description below. If any of this was new to you, there is a good chance someone in your life needs to hear it too.